Hello, welcome to my channel. Today we're doing a video ranking Manchester City legends. This is the first time on my channel that I'm doing a video like this, so do tell me if you enjoy this kind of content or if I should stick with my usual type of videos. Now, I need something to do into summer break and there's not a lot of transfer news out there, so I think there are two coaches in here, but Pep Guardiola and Joe Merkel should be somewhere here too. Yep, here he is. I'm going to save them for last, and I'll tell you why. So you see I have different categories here. In the GOAT category, I can have only one player and only one coach. So the rest, they have to go into other categories. And we're starting off with Aguero. Now, Kun Aguero. He scored the goal that won us the Premier League in 2012. He had been a terrific striker for us from pretty much the day he joined until the day he left. We can't replace him, but then we did. But anyhow, he was amazing, and when he left, it truly felt like we couldn't replace him. And quite frankly, there aren't many strikers in the world that could have replaced him, except for Erling Haaland. And when he left, we had to entirely change our system because we had Jesus as a striker. He just can't come close to the ability of Aguero. Aguero scored so many big goals, especially against United. He scored so many goals that just won us titles, that got just so many goals from impossible angles. Like, go back and watch all Aguero's goals for City. So many of them were from blatantly impossible angles where he just found the net. From really short angles, he found the net. Aguero, one of my favorite players at Manchester City, but he just comes that little bit short of the GOAT, and of course, it's between Aguero and somebody else, it always is, and we all know who my GOAT is, and I don't actually see him in here. Oh yeah, there he is. Okay, next one. Mario Balotelli. I have mixed opinions about him. Like, he is a GOAT, obviously. He's a legend for Manchester City. He's amazing. He's Balotelli. He had really good seasons. He was the coldest motherfucker to ever play for this club. But he had some moments where discipline was a bit low, if you know what I mean. The discipline ran low at times, and sometimes he was very frustrating to watch. With that said, watching him play for Manchester City was almost always very fun. But he just had those games where you were like, oh my god, get him off the pitch. And that's why he's just below that S tier level for me. Okay, Colin Bell. I didn't watch him. I'm not that old. Like, I might look that old. I look like Jesus, a comment said. Big up to you. I didn't watch him, but everyone loves him, so it's there, I suppose. Bernardo Silva. Now, this is going to be controversial. He was very good for us, especially against Real Madrid. He had his moments for us. He has been a terrific player. He's been right wing, midfield, defensive midfield, controlling the ball as a midfielder. He ran the midfield for us in a few games. Like that one game against Liverpool, he absolutely ran the midfield for us. But I've always felt that he was too inconsistent, and it's still Bernardo Silva though. I'll put him here for now and I'll see what I think in a bit. Okay, David Silva. One of the best players that I have ever seen at Manchester City. And I'm gonna say that a lot in this video, to be honest, but he was always consistent, except for a few months, but then he shaved and he became good again. Don't know how that works, but it happened. He had a longevity at Manchester City. He won us a lot of trophies, and quite frankly, the midfield with him and De Bruyne, that partnership, that duo in midfield, and I know Fernandinho was part of it as well, that trio, that was something else. that was just when they went forward, David Silva and De Bruyne linking up going forward, especially when they linked up with Aguero, that was top-notch football. I think that is the best Manchester City attacking football I have seen, better than what we have now. So with Savio coming in and potentially Musial or worse, potentially, that might change. I mean, do I have to explain myself? He's the greatest crosser of a football that I have ever seen. He's, well, in his prime he was at least. Now he's still great, but obviously not at level of his prime. He put Manchester City on his shoulders in 2000, well, not 2019, that was his injury season. Like, was it 2018 with the, no, it was 2020, I believe. When was his injury season? I swear it was 2019. Oh my god. Man City stats. By the way, if you're wondering why I have to do this, my camera is like right here and I can't see the screen very well sometimes. Yeah, it was 2020 when his injury season was, I knew it. In 2019, he put the team on his back. And it wasn't the entire season, but it was just a small portion of games where he absolutely put the team on his back and got us through a period where we weren't good, but we kept winning. And then came the business end of the season and Manchester City was just flying. And that's why we went for the middle ball, I think, because that period before that business end of the season, where De Bruyne absolutely put the team on his back. Nigel de Jong, I liked him, but he was a bit of a bone breaker and he was a really good player, but I think he's just that bit short of being a City legend because, well, there is a reason why people don't talk about him that much anymore. And fair enough, he is overshadowed by Fernandinho and by Rodri a lot, and Gundogan as well, I suppose, and even Mario Balotelli, but he comes that little bit short, I think. Yeah, I think he's not quite a legend, but I mean, I could change it. Dennis Law. I don't care that he was a United player, he got them relegated, and that is why he's S tier. And I don't need to say anything more about it, because I didn't watch him play. Now, Peter Doherty, for those who don't know, he won the league title with us in 1937, and he was pretty much our first like superstar at Manchester City. Very great player. I've never watched him, so I don't know. I'll just put him in S tier because he won us our first league title. Ederson. Yeah, Ederson. I want to put all of these players in this S tier category, obviously, but I can't. So, Ederson. He is the best goalkeeper that Manchester City has had in my lifetime. And, well, actually, I'll keep him in this category. He was better than Joe Hart. And there are a lot of people who say Joe Hart was better. No, he wasn't. Joe Hart might have been the better shot stopper in one season. I think overall, if you look at the entirety of both of their skills and both of their careers, Ederson has been more consistent, he's been more thorough, he's been a greater passer, he's been better on the ball, he's given better leadership, and his shot stopping isn't that bad. Fernandinho. He might not have been as good as Rodri, who somehow isn't on this list, I just noticed. Is he not on here? Oh my god, that's a crime. Yeah, Rodri is not on here, but Fernandinho. Not as good as Rodri, but what a player he was. What a player. I think he was just as good as Rodri in the defensive part. But going forward, and I don't blame him on that, but there's only, like, Rodri is a very, very, very rare player. Very rare to be able to execute that defensive midfield role in such a way, or the sixth role should I really say, to be able to go forward and backwards at a world-class level. There are few players who can do that. But Fernandinho was just as good defensively as Rodri. He was a stone, he kept our midfield together, and he was Rodri's daddy at the end of the day, because when Rodri joined the club, he was Fernandinho's understudy. Fernandinho showed him the way. Fernandinho said, Partey at Atletico was rated higher than you. But I'm going to show you what a real six does. I'm going to show you what a world-class six can do. And that's what he did. And Rodri was made in the likes of Fernandinho. And Student has surpassed the master, of course, but I mean, the master is still the master. So, that's why I give him S-tier legend, but I'm filling this category right up. I want to have most players in like the proper legend category, so I'm gonna have to reorder this in a bit. Anyhow, Phil Foden. What a season he has had. It's not his first good season. He was very good last season too, but was interrupted due to injury. He is on course to become the most decorated English player ever. And there's a few graphics on it, and I don't know if I can find them for you. I'll check. And I might edit this out, or I might not. But actually, I can find it on my Twitter. I have posted them on my Twitter. So yeah, I have a Twitter. Go follow it if you like. I don't post anything interesting there. Because I've posted a few graphics. Yeah, here it is. Comparing Phil Foden to Scholes at 23. So, for those who don't know, Scholes is the most decorated English player, not British player, that's Ryan Giggs, but English player in football history. And, I mean, look at this comparison, it's downright stupid. 4 League Cups compared to Scholes, 0 at the same age. Obviously, bottled that FA Cup final, so let's not talk about that, but both having 2 FA Cups, 6 Premier League titles, 1 Champions League compared to none. It's absolutely ridiculous how many trophies he has won. And he's homegrown, which will always give him that little bit of an advantage. So, Phil Foden, unbelievable player. And do I put him above Aguero? I think I put Aguero above Foden simply on that Aguero goal. That goal in 2012 that won us league. But Phil Foden will definitely surpass Aguero at some point. Okay, Francis Lee. I don't put him above Colin Bell, but Francis Lee, for those who don't know, he scored the goal that won us our 2nd league title. So he is undoubtedly a great player of Manchester City. But again, I did not watch him. Like, you can tell me he scored the goal that made you champions. I wasn't born yet, so that the context is really lost on me there. So, anyhow, next player, Couto. Now, Couto has been with City from 3rd division to the top. He scored goals against Manchester United. I think he got 2 goals and an assist against United in a 3-1 win. He was a City player that dragged City out from the 3rd division. I didn't watch him play though. I started watching football in 2006. I really started watching Manchester City in 2007-8. So I didn't really watch him, so pretty difficult to judge. Anyhow, from what older fans tell me, Couto is the GOAT. He has pretty accurately named. I'm absolutely filling this category up. I'm gonna have to reorder this. Gundogan. Treble winning captain. Clutch goals galore. Not just once, not just twice, not just thrice, but in every season he's been here. He stepped up with clutch goals at the business end of the season. He is the most clutch player I have seen at Manchester City. Maybe Rodri? Nah. Gundogan is definitely more clutch. Like, we have had some clutch players, but no, Gundogan is definitely the most clutch player Manchester City has ever had. And he's a treble winning captain, so what more can you say about that? So, Ilkay Gundogan, he's an S-tier legend, and when I reordered this, Gundogan is remaining there. Okay, Erling Haaland. He's not been at Manchester City enough for me to put him at higher than S-tier. Or at higher than this tier, I mean. He is obviously a City legend already. His father was a City player, and now he's a City player. It's a nice story. And don't be confused. He came to us to win the Champions League, and that is what he did. We don't win the Champions League if we don't have Erling Haaland. And you might say, oh, he then scored in the semi-final and in the final. First of all, that goal in the final is thanks to Haaland absolutely scaring down the defense, because the defenders were kissing Haaland all game long. If Haaland wasn't on the pitch, we don't have as much space in midfield to move around. So Haaland definitely won us that final, even if it was indirectly, and it was Rodri made the bigger involvement, of course, but Haaland wasn't worthless that final. And he was great against Real Madrid, even though he didn't score. And against Bayern München, 3 of the 4 goals were involvements from him, an assist, which was beautiful, and 2 goals. So, Haaland, yes, he came to us to win the Champions League, and that's what he did. Joe Hart. I don't think he is as good as Ederson, but I mean, come on. There was a time when he just could not get the ball past Joe Hart. It didn't matter how he shot it, Hart would get the ball. And that is why he was the English first choice goalkeeper. And now that has dropped off to a player like Pickford, who is just not good at all. But let's not talk about that. Joe Hart, great goalkeeper, and he won titles with us, and then Pep came along and he said, yeah, I don't want you. Vincent, yeah, I'm absolutely filling this category, but this is difficult, mate. I don't want to put Kompany here, but fine, I'll put Dennis Law there. David Silva? No. Fernandinho? This is difficult, mate. This is difficult. This is properly difficult. Do I put Fernandinho here? Sure. Whatever. So, what was I talking about? I forgot. Moving on. Laporte. What are you doing here? Riyad Mahrez. When like black gloves Riyad Mahrez, he will just come to life, and he killed games off. If you remember that goal, and I won't even say what team it was against. If you were at City Extra watching the watch along and the game with a split screen as I was, tell me, because you will know what goal I'm talking about. I'm talking about the goal from City Extra that got onto like Algerian news. And if you know, you know. That was a hell of a goal, and it was a clutch goal too. I won't say what team it was against. Tell me down below in the comments if you know what goal I'm talking about. Anyhow, Riyad Mahrez, terrific player. We did not replace him at all this summer. I hope, or last summer, I hope this summer with Savio coming in that he serves as a replacement, but he's so difficult to replace because Riyad Mahrez was precise, he was deadly, he was a good passer, a good dribbler, he was talented, he was smart, he did his job, he didn't do more than his job, he just did what he had to do, he was versatile, he had everything that a world-class winger needed. So, he is a proper legend in my opinion, for Manchester City. And he also won. Well, I guess that doesn't really matter as a City player, but Year won Algeria their first ever Africa Cup of Nations, I believe. I think that was their first ever. Nasri. When I was younger, this guy was the dude. Watching him play, like Aguero is better, but watching this guy play, he would go across the pitch effortlessly. He would put in passes, and I'm biased. I'm absolutely biased. I loved Nasri as a kid, so this is complete bias. But he could not get the ball off of him. He was that guy. He would take the ball up the pitch and he would walk through midfield. He was beautiful. He is really what football was for me when I was growing up. And I always knew, even as a kid, he's not as good as Aguero, but he just looks so great to watch him. And yeah, maybe I'm biased, but that's why I put him into proper legends category. Neil Young. Is that the guy who scored the goal in the FA Cup final in '96? I should know this. I kind of should know this. I think Neil Young is the guy who scored the goal in the FA Cup final in 1969, which we won. I'm not gonna look it up. That's embarrassing. I'm gonna put him here. That's embarrassing. I should not have to look that up. Sean Wright Phillips. He is the first proper good player that Manchester City has had. Or, well, when I was growing up, of course. He's not a legend. I should really put him here, but I loved watching him, so... I loved watching him, so I'm putting him here. What are you doing here? Richard is done, by the way. I only saw him at the end of his career at Manchester City. So maybe I'm missing it, but he was not that good. Like, he was good, but not that good. Don't know what he's doing here. Sterling. This is also difficult. You know why this is difficult? I really want to put him here with the proper legends. But he was just not that good. He was getting carried by stats and by De Bruyne assists. He was not as good as we like to make him out to be as City fans. Because as City fans, we want to back our players. He's so good, he was great for us, and blah blah blah. He really wasn't. And I'm not saying he was bad, but come on. He was pace, and that was all he was. He scored important goals for us, but I really want to put him into proper legends category, but I just don't think he was good enough. Summerby. Okay, so Summerby. Was it Summer? No, I think it's Tony Book who is right next to him. Let's talk about Tony Book then. Tony Book, of course, both Summerby and Tony Book were part of the FA Cup winning team in 1969. Tony Book went on to become a manager of Manchester City and win the Carabao Cup. It wasn't called the Carabao Cup back then. I think it was called the Carlington Cup or the Milk Cup or something like that. He was a player for us and won everything. And then he became a manager and he won us the League Cup in 1976, I believe. So, great player and a good manager. What more can you ask for? Or well, successful, should I say. I didn't watch these guys. I don't know how good they were. Summerby. He's a legend because he is part of that squad that won us the FA Cup and the league title and stuff. He wasn't at Manchester City for that long, though, if I'm not mistaken. And again, I did not watch him. Yaya Toure. I mean, if Mario Balotelli is the coldest guy at Manchester City, Yaya Toure is the second coldest. But he had the same problem where he will be great for so many games, and then he will just have a howler that will make you so frustrated. Bert Strootman. He's the guy, if you don't know, and I'll put him in S tier for this. Bert Strootman. First of all, you can't get a more German name than Strootman with 2 N's. And Bert. Every German is called Bert for some reason. Except for the Dutch, but like there's a lot of Dutch people called Bert, but they are like fake Germans anyway. So Bert Strootman, he broke his neck, or he dislocated his neck, or whatever, during the FA Cup final. And I think that was the same one in 1969, or was it in the 1950s? I don't remember. He broke his neck and he continued playing the final, and he made a few saves that won us that trophy. If you don't know him, look him up. Bert Strootman, broken neck. In 1956, I thought so. He broke his neck in the FA Cup final, and he continued playing, and he made a few saves that won us that trophy. So if you don't know him, look up that game. If you're smart, you'll find it, or just find the highlights, I suppose. He was great. He was proper great in that game, which puts him in this S-tier legend category for me. Not there. Well, maybe I should put a goalkeeper up here. Should I though? Nah. Okay, last player. Okay, Zabaleta was good for us, but he's not a legend. I really liked him though, but he's not a legend. That's a bit silly. Okay, do I keep this the way it is, or do I move a few of these S-tier legends down? It's very difficult. I think I'm just gonna go to the managers. But with the manager here, it's gonna be like, I'll move 1 down, and it's not gonna be Peter Dowry because he won us our first league title. It's not gonna be Colin Bell because he was our star boy during our successful era in the 1960s and in 1970. And it's not gonna be Francis Lee either because he won us our second league title. This is difficult. Tell me down below, by the way, what your tier list is, but it's not Company and Gundogan either because they were too good. I need to move 1 down though. Tony Book, I'm moving to the very top of the proper legend tier. Because I don't want to move back down, but yeah. Okay, now for the managers. There's only 2 of them here. We could have put Mancini and stuff in here, but they're not really legends for Manchester City, let's be honest. Joe Merker against Pep Guardiola. Only one can be a GOAT, and the other one is going to be an S-tier legend, because I think they both are great legends. And this might be a bit controversial, especially since I didn't actually live in that era. But you have to appreciate what Joe Merker did for Manchester City. He came into the team, promoted us, won the league title, won the FA Cup, won the League Cup, won our first European trophy, and then he left, and then we stopped winning. Until, I think it was Summer B took over then, or was it Tony Book? I think it was Tony Book or Summer B, I don't remember. Took over, and then we won a League Cup. Joe Merker is the guy who really made Manchester City a big club. Because don't be fooled, Manchester City was a big club in the by the 1980s, I suppose, because we were only 3 trophies behind Arsenal at some point in history, and and I'm talking before the Prem, thanks to the trophies that Joe Merker won. Manchester City was a big club in that time, thanks to Joe Merker, and was more successful in his period at Manchester City than Manchester United was. So he made City the bigger club in Manchester. I don't want to say that, but definitely the more successful club in Manchester during his reign. I mean, United obviously just finished a good era and ended it with a European Cup. So I don't want to say exactly that he's been more successful, but he's definitely been competitive with Manchester United. And that was really our first time after the World War II that we were competitive with United and that we were that high. So for me, Joe Merker is the one who made Manchester City what it is today. Without him, we never got bought by Sheikh Mansour because we quite frankly aren't big enough, and Sheikh Mansour decided to buy Manchester City because Manchester City is a big club, always has been. Don't let anyone on the internet fool you. He bought City because they were a big club with a good fan base that was struggling financially, that wasn't winning too many trophies and could be bought cheaply. That's why he bought Manchester City. And Pep Guardiola, there is only one way. Come on, what is this? There we go. There's only one way that Pep Guardiola surpasses Joe Merker for me. It is to surpass Arsenal. And now, I'm gonna pull up my Twitter again. And I'll show you what I mean with surpassing Arsenal. And I was very angry when we lost that FA Cup final. And I'll show you why. Come on, why am I stupid? Where is it? I've got this somewhere. Manchester City, if they want to double this season, would have caught up to Arsenal in trophies. Obviously, we are one trophy behind now. It's 5 on shelf. We are one trophy behind now. We could have caught up to Arsenal if we won the FA Cup. We would have been on 30 each. So for me, if Pep Guardiola catches up to Arsenal, and not only catches up but surpasses them in trophy count, then I will put him above Joe Merker. But not before that. So I think I'll have to leave it there for this video because it is getting quite long. How long have I been recording for? 33 minutes, Jesus. Okay, so yeah, I'll have to leave it there, but I'd like to end with these two. Bribery FC and You'll Never Win a Quad, Joe Smith FC. Thank you for watching the video. Please do like and subscribe, help the channel out a ton. And yeah, like and subscribe, tell me down below what you think, and I'll see you on the next one.